Welcome to Dr. Zoe Today, where the topics are always real, raw, and relevant about love, sex, and relationships. Warning, do not listen to this show if you are sensitive to controversial issues or easily offended. Dr. Zoe and her guests are not to be held liable for any shock, pissing of the pants, sudden desire of change, or uncontrollable laughter. Now, here's your host, Dr. Zoe.
In places that
it is. I love it. I love the fact that it's like, oh, could you get caught? Could you not? Because it's the extra element of adrenaline, which makes sex so much fun.
I think the most obscure places for me is probably like sports arenas, definitely movie theaters and stuff like that. But there's one thing that stands out in my mind. I was at the drive-in, and he was driving a truck, and we put down the tailgate, and we fucked doggy style on the tailgate. That was awesome. And
stranded at the drive-in.
Like everybody was around, but it was like really sneaky. Like my mini skirt was up and whatever. But on balconies, on vacation, and
balconies is fun.
I like going into bathrooms and clubs and restaurants and being in the mix.
Oh my God, totally.
Oh, that turns me on so much. So I would say, public places is probably the most obscure for me, and I always encourage people to experience that because it's really exhilarating and exciting. Okay.
Absolutely.
Rage Fuel Angel, someone on Twitter wrote in and said, do you think everyone is bisexual to some degree?
Absolutely, 100%. I feel like sex is a line. And gay is on one side of the line and straight is on the other side. And whether or not you can get pleasure from the same sex or from the opposite sex, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand if two bodies are connecting and they're touching each other in the right way, that pleasure can occur. It's all about where it is that you fall on that line. Some people fall closer to the gay side. Some people fall closer to the straight side. Some people fall somewhere in the middle. And that's okay. It's whether or not you're comfortable enough in your own skin to admit to yourself that you could actually enjoy pleasure with either sex. That's what the question is really about.
That's a really good way of looking at it, and I also think that everyone is bisexual to some degree. I don't know how many women who are totally straight, married, in straight relationships have told me they always think of women when their man is eating them out. I think that a lot of people are just scared to experience it, but
Absolutely.
I do believe that both men and women are attracted to both sexes to some degree, and I agree with you.
It's more socially acceptable to accept two women.
Right.
I feel that two men rubs people the wrong way more, but it's because there's my psychology view on it. Men's biggest fantasy is to be with two women, whereas women are more reserved because it's all about how you're raised. Women, when they're little, what do the parents always tell them? You better guard your pussy. Your pussy is like sacred. Your pussy is, you know what I mean? You better not give it up until he puts a ring on it, because if not, you're considered a whore, this and that.
Yeah.
Whereas a boy, it's like if a boy tells his dad, guess what? I fucked every single hot girl on the cheerleading team. What's the dad going to tell the son? That's my boy. Whereas if a girl tells their dad, guess what? I fucked every single hot boy on the football league. He's going to call her a fucking Jezebel whore. You know what I mean? So as a result, when you grow up, you carry those values that are instilled with you as a child into your adulthood. So women tend to be more reserved sexually than men, because men as children are taught that your seed, the more you spread it, the more of a man you are. Women are taught you better protect your vagina and he better put a ring on it.
Right.
So as an adult, and I'm not saying everyone because I don't like to generalize, but 9 times out of 10 men tend to be more sexually free than women, and it's because of that. So as a result, when men think about two women, it's like something that turns them on, whereas a lot of women, when they think about two men, it's off-putting to them. And then two men that are machismo, it's almost like it makes them feel emasculated to think about being with another man. But those are their own insecurities.
Right. I understand what you're saying, and I agree to you to a certain extent. And I really believe that it does depend on the individual. Like you
Absolutely.
had it, like you shared, you thought something was wrong with you, and you thought God didn't love you because, I thought something was wrong with me because God made me a girl, and I'm so sexual. And like my whole, history of relationships and everything, everyone would be like, you're like a guy, your sex drive is like a guy, and da-da-da-da-da, you're such a freak.
My kind of girl.
And I'm just like, and I never was one of those girls who, I was always the one that was being a player instead of getting played. So it was and then when I got older, it was like, okay, I need to stop breaking hearts and get serious and really, like you've said, look under the hood, see what's going on. Why do I keep cycles and all kinds of stuff like that? But I think it really depends on the individual, and I think there's some women out there that are like me that are so sexual, and maybe they're repressed in some way. But when you shared, I prayed and I had an epiphany. And one day I was like, you know what? God made me, just like there's fingerprints and snowflakes, and they're all different. God made me as an individual, and so that's why we've built a lot of this show, and even my company, Catapult Enterprises. Everything is your own individual definition of success for the business and your own individual definition of sexuality for the show. So that's awesome. Okay, so next question: has anybody ever caught you masturbating?
Oh, my God, yes, and it was so embarrassing. I was masturbating in my bathroom in New York City, and I had, the apartment, my room was the basement, which was set up like this, huge apartment. I had, my own kitchen, my own bathroom, my own living room, everything. And my mom came down, and I don't know what got into my mom that day because she had never done this before, but I was in the bathroom masturbating, and for some reason she felt the need to pick the lock.
Oh.
And she picked the lock, and when she opened it, I was sitting with the toilet seat down, so I couldn't even pretend that I was taking a shit. And she looked, and the Vaseline, the lotion was, still sitting on the counter, and I was like, fuck. And I was so embarrassed because I was, caught red-handed, literally, with the lotion in my hand and everything. I climbed out the window of the basement and, left, for hours because I was so embarrassed.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, we have another question for you. I want to get to as many as we can. We have a few more minutes, and we're going to play your single at the end of this, Delusions of Grandeur. Besides Latin pop, which are your other favorite genres? Which artists inspire you the most? Tia wrote that.
I actually love I love it all. God, I can't really pick. I love grunge rock from the 90s. I even love bubblegum pop. I love the Spice Girls from the 90s. It's a guilty pleasure. When I'm feeling silly, I'll play that. But I love it all. I mean, there isn't really a genre I don't like because there's the way that I view music. Music is there's good and bad in all genres. Lately, what I've been listening to is a lot of electro pop because that's what I'm been singing. Delusions of Grandeur, my new single, is electro dance. So I've been listening to a lot of that, but I can't really say that there's a favorite. Artists that inspire me are people Nat King Cole because of how his music was so innocent and charming, and I love of course, Michael Jackson, because musically it was he was a hit writer. He was a songwriter. He was a dancer. He was a performer. He was a triple threat. Madonna, of course. Elvis for all of his amazing music. The Beatles. So the list can go on and on. I mean, those are the artists that inspire me the most.
Okay, Allison wrote in, is Angelo Garcia single at the moment?
Yes, I am. I've been single for probably about 3 years now since my breakup, and the reason why I did that was because when I was in that 4-year relationship and it ended up so badly, that's when, remember when we had the conversation yesterday that I was I tend to now look under the hood of the car before I decide whether I want to have sex with the person or not. Needless to say, I started looking under the hood of the car, and I've been celibate for about a year and a half now because I don't feel that these are people that I've connected with. And inadvertently, what I want to do now is I want to find someone that's going to be my life partner. So I view sex now, I take sex a lot more seriously now than I did when I was in my 20s.
That's awesome.
I understand what it represents. I understand what it means to connect with an individual and how special that is when you connect with someone to the point that you want to give your body to them.
Okay.
So...
Okay, next question. Mazzy says, Angelo and Dr. Zoe, in your opinion, what's the best music for getting it on?
I like anything. I like dark, seedy, like house music for sex.
I like. Oh my gosh, I have Dr. Zoe's jams on my app people can listen to, but I love trap music. I'm so into trap mixes right now. I love it. But go ahead. What else do you like?
I like anything with a thumping like beat, but that sounds like almost like it should be like music that is played like in a bathhouse. Like that kind of music, like
yeah. You know what I like too? I like old R&B, like sexy old R&B.
But that's the type of music that you hear when you're in love, though.
Yeah,
like that's the type of music you hear when you're in love, and it's not when you're fucking. That's music you hear when you're having.
Yeah, okay.
That's making love music.
I would say like dance and like trap music to like make love or to slow dance or to like get really like raunchy and dirty but romantic. I would say old R&B. And
yes.
Okay, let's see okay, here is a pretty long question. Yes, we have time. Okay, Cynthia, we had tons of them, so we're going to have you back on, Angelo. Okay, Cynthia.
Let's do it.
This is for Angelo. Kind of crazy question, I know, but in June, I will be in Denver with my kiddos. I was wondering if you would like to have lunch with me and maybe talk to my 13-year-old about your experiences with bullies and how you got through it. She has turned to singing, and she is incredible, but she struggles. She tried to take her own life in January. Now, I completely understand if you're too busy or if it's uncomfortable meeting a complete stranger. That won't change my mind about you. You're incredible, and you have no idea how many topics you touch on and spread awareness about that directly impact my life. It is completely platonic, and I have no hidden agendas other than making a friend and helping my girl see she is not alone. Thanks for being you, and keep spreading the word.
Well, there's the way I see it. It's like I never like to make promises. Have your daughter contact me on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Angelo Garcia Cantante, and I can like talk to her. If I'm in town, when you're in town, of course I would love to. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I would love to meet like my supporters.
Okay, so have your daughter contact him on his Facebook page. Jacob writes in, how did Angelo get so ripped?
I've been working out for over 15 years, and the secret to getting ripped,
Wait a second. I don't think people know that. He was a motherfucking personal trainer for years, too. And you
for
were
over 10 years.
Yeah, okay.
I was the best personal trainer in New York. I was the #1 grossing personal trainer at one point in New York City. I mean, I was the go-to boy in New York City to train, and I would bust your ass, and I would leave your body flawless. So the secret to getting ripped, it's you need to diet, and what I would suggest is high protein, low carbs, and definitely cardio. I would do 60 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and a high protein, low carb diet, and watch the rippedness come out, and you will love it.
Okay, next question for Angelo and Dr. Zoe. How old were you when you first French kissed, and was it awkward? Yes, it was extremely awkward. I was 12 years old. It was to Purple Rain, and it was very awkward, but I ended up loving it, and it got me addicted to many things, and I think sex has been my only sexual matters and sexual things have been my only addiction. How old were you when you first French kissed?
I was 12, and actually we were playing spin the bottle, so it was very innocent and very typical for like a 12-year-old, like the situation. I mean, the way you see it, like in like you know the movies, like My Girl and stuff like that. It was kind of like that, and we went in the closet and we made out, and I got an erection. Her name was Evelyn, and she's still friends. We're still friends.
Evelyn.
We're still friends. We're still friends.
Wow. That is awesome. Okay, Andrea wrote in, she says, does Angelo prefer men over women? You've kind of already
I would say that, like we were talking about before, I connect with the spirit, and whatever the spirit tells me is what I do. So I would say I'm 50-50 on that.
Okay, we got a ton of other questions. We got some questions about, like, your interaction on Facebook and how you respond to people who, like, say negative things about you. And we got a lot of people that wrote in and were like, you know, well, if, you know, he's talking about bullying, but then he's going to call, you know, I don't know, I've got a bunch of questions here about, like, bullying, and if you're going to be a leader of bullying, then, you know, how come you deal with people in the way that you do, like, you know, just, and I think it's just that you're defending yourself, but I wanted to give you an opportunity.
All right, Len, I love that people ask that question. Finally, I'm going to be able to, like, tell the masses the way that I view things about bullying. Bullying is when somebody comes out of nowhere to attack somebody that's peacefully doing their thing, not bothering anybody, and trying to be happy and joyous and, you know, and positive to everybody.
Right.
When somebody stands up to a bully and tells them off because they're fed up at this person harassing you and putting you down and insulting you, don't expect me to just stay quiet when you're putting me down and calling me names and calling me fag and telling me that, oh, stick to your day job, or telling me that I don't have talent, or telling me that I'm on drugs, or accusing me of being on steroids, and expect me to just sit there and allow you to basically publicly defame me on my page.
Amen.
I'm going to stand up for myself, and I'm going to give you a piece of my mind.
Amen.
Any person with an inkling of intelligence can understand the concept that if someone's attacking you and someone's spitting at you, you're not going to give them a hug. You're going to give them a piece of your mind. So
Amen.
I am against bullying, and what I tell all of my soldiers on my page, and I will always say this, is that respect is earned. I'm not just going to give you my respect. I am going to bestow the same amount of respect to you that you bestow unto me.
I agree.
And if you're getting bullied, you stand up for yourself. And that's what I do. I set my example, and when someone bullies me, some days I'm more passive because I'm in a better mood, and I will tell them, God bless you, or whatever, or just delete the comment. And other days, you know what I mean? I'm human. I have good moods. I have bad moods. When I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself.
And common
Simple
sense.
as that.
Common sense is these are the people who are bullying initially, so what you're responding to bullying. So it doesn't make any sense anyway. You're just standing up for yourself, which
That's right.
You know, of course you
and
should.
I will never stop doing it, and whoever has a problem with it, don't make your problem with the way I handle my bullies my problem.
Like I say all the time, people love me or they love to hate me, and I consider it all love. So love you, mwah, to all my haters. I love you, mwah, mwah. Okay, so that's all we have time for tonight as far as the questions go. I want you to go ahead and tell all my listeners where to keep up with you once again. So the best
go
place
on my
to check you
Facebook
out.
page, facebook.com/Angelo Garcia Cantante. That's Angelo Garcia, Cantante, or my Instagram, which is Bigums, Bigums, or my Twitter at Angelo Pop Music. And don't forget to go on YouTube and enter Angelo Delusions of Grandeur and subscribe to my page. Go see my music video. Listen to my single. It's amazing.
Yes,
Delusions of Grandeur.
We're going to play Delusions of Grandeur right now, and everybody go to his YouTube channel and check it out. And also, I want you to go ahead and give us a brief synopsis. We have a few minutes for you to tell us what this song, Delusions of Grandeur, is all about.
Delusions of Grandeur is a song that is talking about rising above supercilious individuals that try to put you down, that think that they know what you're all about, and that feel that they're above you for X, Y, or Z reason, whether it is that you're gay, whether it is that you're fat, whether it is that you're black, whether it is that you're Jewish, whether it is that you're a woman, whether it is that you're mentally challenged or have a disability. This song is about rising above and taking ownership and power of who you are. And the chorus goes as such. It really healed my heart in a dark period. And the chorus goes like this. You thought that I was weak, but I am strong. You thought that I would crumble. You are wrong. You filled my heart with mockery and banter. Delusions of grandeur. You gathered, ascertained, tried to surmise. You thought you had me psychoanalyzed. You thought that I was blinded by your rapture. Delusions of grandeur. So that's for anyone. I wrote that from the bottom of my heart for anyone that's ever felt that they've been kicked while they've been down. I hope you love it as much as I loved writing it.
Awesome, Angelo. Thank you so much for being on the show.
I've had so much fun.